Hello lovely people, welcome back to this week's new video. Today I am going to be testing out if these three authors are still worth my time. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Noah. I'm a bookish and lifestyle vlogger, born and raised and still based in New York City. If that sounds like of any interest to you, I would absolutely love it if you would stick around and subscribe at the end if you so please. My bangs are doing something funky, so please don't mind them. For this video, I have chosen 3 books by 3 different authors, of which I have not always enjoyed their books. Either I have constantly given them less than 3 stars, I may have DNF'd their books. First off, I have Stephen Graham Jones's Night of the Mannequins. This is actually a novella. It's less than 200 pages. Stephen Graham Jones, I read The Only Good Indians for the Literally Dead book club. Pretty sure I gave that 2 stars. I read the other slasher one, DNF'd that. Next, I have Akwaeke Emezi's You Made a Fool Out of Death with Your Beauty. I listened to Pet, their YA book, via audio, and I gave that 2 stars. I read earlier this year The Death of Vivek Oji, also a DNF. And this was also a new release that I had been hearing a lot of beautiful things about, and I figured it might be worth a try. I am not a huge literary fiction fan, so I was taking a leap with this one. Lastly, I have Watching You by Lisa Jewell. I have read maybe 4 or 5 books by her, and they've been like 3 to 4 stars, never 5. I was thinking maybe this could be a 5-star read. I could obviously continue reading from this author and keep searching for something that I love and potentially have Lisa Jewell become a favorite author of mine. So let's rewind about a week or so and see what I thought about these 3 books. I don't think I actually gave a synopsis of this. A group of young friends in high school, they want to pull a prank to scare a friend who works in a movie theater. So they dress up this mannequin into the theater to kind of fool that friend, but also the employees. Until it wakes up, the mannequin, and it starts murdering people.
I'm pretty bored. I feel like with all of Stephen Graham Jones' books, there's something that I missed, making it less enjoyable for me than it is for everybody else. I'm not enjoying this. And I think I'm over halfway and I am pushing through it. Because it's so short, it's a novella, it's not even 200 pages, I don't want to have to DNF it. I just don't understand what's scary. Okay, I finally finished this, and I will say that it was easier to read through and understand compared to his other 2 books that I've read. Actually, one of them I think was a DNF, but I still just couldn't really care. I didn't really think it was scary or thriller-y or horror-y enough for whatever it was supposed to be, and I'm still giving this 2 stars. I would like to give it 1, but I did read it. I just didn't give a shit. And I struggled to finish this, and it's a novella. Okay, it's 136 pages. That's not great. I don't know, maybe if it was longer. I feel like the writing style usually works for me in the beginning, and then it just suddenly loses me. I don't know what it is about his writing, but that's been the case for all 3 books. So we're not off to a great start. I think I'm just gonna get ready for bed now and start a new book. Hello! Coda just left for work. Oops, that's too overexposed. Was going to go with him to go out to do laundry, but I started off my day on the phone with my friend Samantha. It was really nice to catch up with her, so I was doing that. I literally was just rolling around in bed doing that. I did strip the bed to do laundry, so everything's packed up, but I hadn't yet washed my face and stuff, so I wanted to just let the sunscreen sit on my face a little bit before I leave. I think I'm gonna clean the floors after I come back. Anyway, what you're here for: You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. This is about Faye. This is a terribly uncomfortable position. I needed to get on a stool. So Faye has lost the love of her life, her high school sweetheart Jonah, in a terrible accident, and she is still grieving 5 years later. However, her best friend Joy has convinced her to start dating again, and she finds a seemingly perfect guy. He is from a tropical island, which is not specified, and he invites her back there because as Faye being an artist, his father is curating this exhibit or something, and she can be a part of that. She goes, meets his family,
and has this attraction to the dad. I don't know if this is marketed as a romance, but she's feeling overwhelmed because obviously he's off limits. It's quite complicated. But she's feeling all of these mixed thoughts. She's dealing with someone who understands her grief, and can she honor that grief while also releasing her past and going towards her future of things that she wanted. I've read a decent amount actually, having started this book last night and reading on the train yesterday to work. Where's my bookmark? I've read almost 140 pages of this. I would say maybe halfway, a little bit over. I'm really liking this. It's different because with Akwaeke Emezi's first book that I read, Pet, that was on audio, and I think it was also YA, so it just like didn't hit me the way that I guess it should have. Let me see what I gave that, because I read The Death of Vivek Oji earlier this year and I fucking DNF'd that. If you watched my reading Elias's favorite books, that was part of that. I gave Pet 2 stars. Yeah, I read this in 2020. I said it was an interesting concept, but I think listening to the audiobook late at night wasn't the right time for me to start for it, because I prefer to finish audiobooks in a full day because I don't want to lose it, and I think I was just like rushing to finish it and it just like wasn't working for me. This so far is. The writing style is really great. It's beautiful. I am also connecting with Faye in her grief and wanting to hold on to that, feeling guilty. And it's been 5 years for her, but it's still raw and she's still like crying about it, and it's hard for her to open up to people about it. I love her friendship with Joy. I think it's hilarious. Joy is a mess, but I feel like it's kind of a mess that Faye welcomes and needs in her life to sort of balance a lot of the sadness that she feels, which has also been kind of working great for her because she's channeling that grief and sorrow into her artwork, and it's been really cathartic for her. It's bringing out a lot of new styles for her. So I am actually really enjoying this. I think while I wait for the laundry, because I have to go to the laundromat, I can definitely get into this. I low-key like want to finish this today, but also I don't, because then I won't have anything to read for the train ride home tomorrow. But I am feeling better after Night of the Mannequins. Nothing like fresh sheets. It's gonna feel so nice going to bed at night. I was watching Modern Family and eating like a late lunch / early dinner while I was waiting for the laundry. Thank goodness it is so close by. But as I was going out, sorry, I just need to keep changing positions to find the light. I've been listening to the most recent episode of My Favorite Murder. This is Buried Bones, it's called, episode 344. I've caught up many times, fallen behind many times, but this is so interesting because Kate Winkler Dawson and Paul Holes are both podcasters, part of Karen and Georgia, the host of My Favorite Murders podcast network, exactly right. And they're coming out with their new podcast called Buried Bones. They're covering a case from 1933, the death of Aline Lamson. And it's really cool because Kate and Paul both bring their different expertise. So I think there's only 20 minutes left of this, but I think I might just try to find something, clear more surfaces in this apartment to finish listening to this because I'm really liking this. And then I think I'll get to reading because, you know, this is the perfect opportunity to read. My night is pretty much free. But laundry is done. That was like the main task of the day. And beautiful. I feel really good. I am going to be leaving soon for like a super late dinner. I've just been craving this one dish, and you know when you have to have it. Things are moving along, I'll say, with Faye and Alim. They've already had their moment. They've had another moment in which Faye is a lot more forward. So I will just leave that there.
The plan for tonight is to finish You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty because I need to start on my third book to get this video up this week. So far, I don't think that I have that many pages left, but it's gotten very messy. I have like 60 pages left. It's gotten very messy. It's a lot. Nasir now knows, and it's definitely not in the way that either Faye or Aleem wanted. His behavior was very aggressive, but I don't think it was totally uncalled for. I mean, how else did she expect him to react? But like also like she got with Nasir after being with his friend, which I think is already kind of messy, but I guess like what's his name? The first guy. I already forgot his name. Malik something was fine with that, but also like father is way too close to home. Also, Nasir gave you all these connections. He helped your career essentially by bringing you here, and I can definitely see why Nasir would see it as a betrayal of her getting with his dad, and I don't really like that. She's finished. I'm giving this book 4 stars. Lovely. I need to sleep. I really liked this. Why am I out here looking like Jimmy O Yang? Like fucking, oh my god. I need to wash my hair. I really liked this. Okay, someone help. Is this not working? Now I just look like Jimmy O Yang. I can't not see it anymore. So, I feel like the last part of it when Faye was talking with Nasir kind of really saved this for me. It could have been a 3 or 3.5, and it kind of tied back into grief and how Faye and Aleem first connected. And I don't really feel like his name is Milan, not Malik. Him calling Faye to like tell her to look out for herself was like a necessary thing, because I feel like she kind of always knew that, and maybe that's a conversation she could have had with her therapist. Throwing in that little part about like mental health and being able to check in with yourself but also with someone else was like nice, but it didn't like add anything to the story, I feel like, because it didn't actually show anything with her therapist. Faye was telling Nasir, like, I've been grieving for so long and it's still so raw that being with Aleem feels like the universe telling me that I can finally be happy again, that I'm allowed that. And that really resonated with me, because I've been dating Coda for about as long as my dad having died, and I've always felt a lot of guilt about that, because I always felt like guilty for being happy when I should have been like only sad. And I was sad a lot. I still am. But like her saying that kind of was a reminder for me that I am allowed that too. And I feel like I don't really talk to anybody about that. So like I had never really heard that. And like I never knew how much I needed maybe to hear that. 'Cause I really felt that, and maybe that's why like I didn't love that Aleem and Faye really fell for each other super quickly, but maybe because they connected on such a deep way that nobody else in their lives have understood, that's why it accelerated so quickly and why they kind of worked really fast. That's not my favorite part of that, but I'm kind of glad that it tied back into grief. The book is pretty sexy and spicy and very chaotic and messy. I don't know if I wanted it to have that. I feel like it could have been a book about grief on its own. Anyway, this has restored my hope in Akwaeke Emezi and their books. I think that I can enjoy them again. I will keep an eye out for other books that they will be putting out and maybe look into their backlist as well. Last comment about this book. If this became a movie, I know in my mind just who Faye would be. I see her being played by Jodie Turner-Smith. For Aleem, maybe some sort of like Idris Elba type Delph situation with like a really nice deep voice. I started the last book for this video, Watching You by Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell isn't necessarily an author that I have many bad books for, but they've been sort of average. The premise of this one is a little bit vague, but it's been on my TBR for at least 2 years or so. So it's taking place in a picturesque, sort of rich town in Bristol. Someone has been murdered in their own kitchen. There's a lot of secrets and a lot of neighbors with prying eyes. You don't really know, or I don't really know at this point, who's dead. I've only read like 60 pages. You don't really know who's dead and obviously who the murderer is. So it's supposed to keep you guessing until the end. So far, it's a little bit confusing. There's a couple of characters that have been introduced. I can tell one of them is like the creepy kid. There might be some affairs going on, but so far it's been enjoyable. I'm trying a new way of styling my bangs, but I honestly just look like an alien. I don't know if this is gonna work, but your girl is lazy, so I'm finding some ways that work for me. Yesterday, I was reading a lot of Watching You by Lisa Jewell on the train home, my commute, yada yada yada. Hopefully I can finish her today. That is wishful thinking because that's never going to happen. I do not have that much time. However, I definitely would like to finish her tomorrow, meaning that I can get this upload out on time. I just need to film my intro. So far, I have no idea who has died yet, and I'm definitely over halfway. Okay, I'm definitely over halfway. I don't really know like what the mystery is gonna be. I'm hoping that the reveal is gonna be good because like at least if I knew who died in the beginning and maybe it's like a whodunit sort of Agatha Christie vibe, maybe that could be fun. But I have no idea who died. There's a lot of things. Freddy is a fucking creep and I do not like him. Also, I'm like loving the description of Joey's red suede tassel boots. Like, do I need them? I think so. So far, it's just like rich neighborhood vibes, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like I'm ripping my hair out. This is what I wanted. Because I hate when I look down on the train to read my book and my bangs are just in my face. This is what I wanted. Oh my god. Wait, this is better. This is better. And when I look down, it still swoops. Oh. That's better, that's better. I finished this yesterday. I have thoughts, so I will wait until I get home and have my camera. I'm home now and showered, and I need to grab the book. I finished the last little bit yesterday, so I ended up just listening to some podcasts on my way home. The whole way through, I had been trying to figure out who would possibly die in what kind of scenario, and it was sort of like giving me the guest list vibes in that way. You don't necessarily have the perspective of other people, but each chapter is about a different character, the people in the neighborhood, people who are important. It's a little bit creepy because Freddy is essentially spying on people, taking photos of them and keeping a log and like tracking people and what they're doing in the neighborhood. I was trying to figure out like what could possibly the mystery be, but like the reveal of it was maybe, you know, fine, but it like wasn't intriguing and it wasn't enough for me to have like read this entire book and been like, oh, this is the fucking crime, like, you know, like I enjoyed it maybe more than Night of the Mannequins. I feel like there was more potential there actually, but I think that this is going to be 2.75 stars. Yeah. I think Stephen Graham Jones is an author that I will no longer be reading from. I just find myself always getting confused. I tried with the third book and it just wasn't working for me. Akwaeke Emezi, on the other hand, I think is wonderful. I think it's always going to depend. It might have to catch me at the right mood. Again, because I said literary fiction just isn't my thing. And it's so weird because I rated this pretty high. However, Death of Vivek Oji, also literary fiction, read earlier this year, was a DNF. So it might just depend, maybe because this had a little bit of an extra thing, like a romance, which is a genre that I like. I will still be hunting for books by Akwaeke Emezi. Lisa Jewell, I think they're just mediocre, you know? If I pick them up, I think it's gonna be a good time, but I have yet to find a 5-star read. I think it'll be a really exciting moment if I find one. I read Lisa Jewell's Family Upstairs earlier this year, which was like on my book of the month stack of shame from 3 years ago. Didn't like that. So, you know, we have our up and downs. I'm not sure if this can be a series. I kind of just thought of this video idea on a whim. It would be a really cool series, but again, there aren't many authors that I have a lot of dislikes for. Typically, if I have one book that I don't like by them, I will no longer really reach for them unless it's like very hyped and I hear a lot of great things about them. I hope you all enjoyed and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!